just a few more slides. Inform Republicans, keep your neighbors apprised of important issues. I went over that. Equip yourself with information to answer frequently asked questions. You always need to be on your game. We always need to know what we're talking about, what candidates are talking about, what the issues are. Know websites, documents that voters can go to. Texas Ethics Commission. You can look at all, or Secretary of State. You can look at all past election information. County website, county party website. Things like that. Make sure that you kind of know, good information. Blogs probably aren't big around here, but and I don't really read them either. But Hot Air, things like that. You know what those are. Voter Vault, like I said, I was planning on showing y'all Voter Vault, but it's 13 million people. You can pull walk lists, call lists. You can get maps. You can get turn-by-turn directions. We were actually just met with the iPhone guy yesterday, or the iPhone application writer yesterday, and that will be out if you have an iPhone. You'll be able to see Voter Vault. From your phone, you can stand in a location and see everybody on that street and see if they're Republican or Democrat and where they live. We're updating it in March, right after the primary. Looking forward to maybe having a special election for a Senate seat, depending on what Kay Bailey Hutchinson chooses to do. That update will include cell phone numbers and emails to Voter Vault. So you'll be able to, if you're a candidate, email anybody in your district through Voter Vault. That you won't see their emails. It'll travel through our server and then back out, but you'll be emailing everybody. Same thing with cell phones. And in addition to that, then after that in June, we may input home values, so that you can, so that when you're sending out fundraising letters, you can, target people based on how, what the value of their home. So, you can send $5 fundraising letters to some people and $250,000 email fundraisers to other people. So, be watching for Voter Vault. It's a great tool. It's only as good as you make it. Tools for the job, RPT Precinct Chairman Handbook, platforms, obviously, precinct convention attendance, state convention handbooks, voter registration cards. Make sure you always have those with you. Applications for ballot by mail. Know the dates on when those are due, when they can be mailed in, when you can mail those out. Polling locations and schedules. Sample ballots. I talked about those a little bit. And then candidate and elected contact information. Final thoughts, always be organized. Write a plan. Have a plan for everything that you do politically. That's the most, one of the most important things you'll do is have a plan. 3, follow that plan. It doesn't do us any good to just write it down. We need to always make sure that we follow it. 4 is, I call it riding the bus. We need to always make sure that the county party is always on the same page, that we're, the county party should be like a big bus, and everybody gets on it and does their own thing while they're on the bus, but we're all on the same bus, and we're all going in the right direction. We get on it, and we start, and we go down the road, and we don't ever deviate from our plan or from what we're doing. So make sure that you're, that you're a team player, that you're on the bus with everybody else, and even if you're having disagreements in the bus, that you're still there and you're still working as a team. 5, make all major decisions in the morning as a county party. That's take that or leave it. But I tell all of my candidates, especially my candidates, make all major decisions in the morning. 6, disagreements have to stay here in our room, or here at the county party. If we disagree among each other, it has to stay here. There's no reason for the county judge to know about what disagreements are going on here in the county party. There's no reason for your neighbor to know or things like that. It's beneficial for all of us. It gives it saves us all from a lot of embarrassment. And on top of that, it's kind of like your family. You can always talk bad about your mother, but nobody else can. We all make sure that disagreements stay here. 7, the Reagan rule. We never talk ill of other Republicans. We always need to make sure that our races are respectful, that we're being nice to all Republicans across the board. And then 8, technology is not a substitute for personal contact. Our candidates, precinct chairman, can't just use emails and things like that and Facebook to communicate with people. We need to have eyeball-to-eyeball relationships with as many voters as we possibly can in this county, and that's how we're going to win elections. That's my presentation. John, do you have anything to add?
I like the eyeball-to-eyeball, especially for candidates. Candidates right now should have in their mind already the bullet points that they want to concentrate on 3 or 4 bullet points in the elections. You guys ought to know when you get up in front of a crowd that you're ready to talk about why you want to do the job and why they should vote for you. And if you're not out collecting right now money, that was a good point about that. If you're not out right now going eyeball to eyeball with people to get your money, your fundraising, you're behind. You should be doing that already. So I'm encouraging candidates to make sure they go eye to eye. And also register people to vote. You need to really know who these people are that are in your districts. And County Judge, Brad and Trey, you're going for Commissioner. And Chris, you're going for County Judge. You guys need to be out working already. You should have been doing walks on weekends and maybe even talking to people during the week, evenings, to make sure you get your funding. So I just want to say that because in my own county there's been people that have not done that. Even with the encouragement we've been giving them, they're not out doing the job. There's been people I've seen in these other counties around over the last election cycle, even Delta County, as good as you guys are, they have not been out working. We've been talking to them about doing it, and there's one sheriff candidate a couple of years ago that was like 2 weeks before the election. He decided to get out and start working. So it's important to get out early, and and he was talking earlier about young people. Young people are really important. And we've used, is it Project Joshua? Is that the group that there's some homeschoolers that were involved in a group that went down to Houston. Bunch of kids, about 35 or so kids went down to Houston. They got involved in 3 campaigns down there. The guy that beat Nick, is it Lamson, that was the one that beat out Sekula, or anyway, they went out and worked that race, and they worked 2 other races, and they won all 3 of them because those kids were out there every day doing it. Door to door, eye to eye. So it's really important. Phone banks are important too to make sure to get out to vote, but you got to make sure you know who the people are before you do that. So.
Ash, John, whichever one of y'all, what is a good time to campaign? I mean, if you go during the daytime, 9 times out of 10, everybody's working. You hate to interrupt people at supper. On the weekends, they're watching football games. So what do y'all find as a good time to get out and knock doors?
This is not going to be what you want to hear, but those are the times, dinner's when you need to be knocking on somebody's door when they're home. People will get frustrated, but 1 out of every 10 will get frustrated, and the other 9 will be glad that you showed up at their door. And John, is that what you agree with? I mean, there's no really. You got to find when they're home and then go. People
have talked about it's Sunday. Don't go to their house because that's when they're home. They want to be with their families. They're watching football games. You catch people home, and those people will remember that you came to their door. So I mean that's important that you get the people. You talk to the people one-on-one, and that when you can catch them, that's when you need to do it, in the evenings, on weekends. And I am a Christian as much as anybody probably in here, except maybe Pam Durr, but I walk on Sundays, and it's important that you catch people home. So,
I walk on Sundays too. Or I tell all the candidates that I work with, if they, I encourage them all to walk on Sunday because it's the day that everybody's home. And, I'm not, walking during the weekday, you would think everybody's at work, but you'd be surprised the number of housewives that are at home. With or without kids that are at home, and you'd be surprised at the way they can control the vote in their household after you talk to them. And so, go. Don't be afraid to walk at any time. If I was a candidate, I would get up in the morning at 7:00 in the morning. I would go to a breakfast club or go meet people at the local McDonald's or wherever people were. I would go to work 8 to 9. I would try to walk sometime between 9 and noon. I would go to lunch, and I would go to the busiest restaurant in town, and I would see everybody there. Then in the afternoon, I would try to walk a little bit, some there too. I would go work, and then after work from 6 to 9 or 6 to dark, I would be back out walking or calling people. Or I'd probably walk from time I got off work to dark, and then I would call people from dark to 8:45, or 9. And then and then use the night to do kind of all of the administrative, logistical things of the campaign. So.